Are we in a Phsy-Op, or is this all real? We all feel it. We're in a spiritual war. We all know it. We all feel it. Everybody feels something. Strange drones in the skies, UFOs, orbs. What is it that we're really witnessing here? Golden Dome. Donald Trump can't wait to build it. Alberta might be part of the United States soon. And we acquired Greenland. We bought it for $700 million. We gave the 57,000 people that live there all $100,000 apiece. There was a strange post on Reddit about, it was a coordinates talking about Greenland, saying that on these coordinates there's a spaceship that crashed. Here's the article from Greenland about the UFO buried in Greenland. This was posted yesterday by someone, then deleted. I took screenshots about UFO found in Greenland. There were a few years when the top of the building was visible on Google Earth, probably due to the heating inside and the thin layer of ice above. But this was before 2010. I heard of this for the first time in 2006, early November. Coordinates of the installation should be approximately around, and it gives you the coordinates right here. I don't remember hearing anything about the shape of the object underneath, but I assume that it was neither spherical nor saucer shaped. It had a rather sizable container that was nearly empty, which probably storing nuclear material. Supposedly, this was mostly empty when it was found, but I'm not completely sure about that. Interesting, though not reverent, tidbit that there were other large-scale underground installations created elsewhere in Greenland. The approximate linear dimension of the object may have been similar as an order of magnitude to the 1997 Phoenix Triangle, but the shape was most likely not. You will probably be able to read more about this if the testimonies towards the IG have become public. Unconfirmed, but supposedly there were also a lot of bodies, less than 100 inside the object, perhaps much more than all the other bodies added together. What other bodies added together? What the heck does this, what? And it played an important role in rejecting the ET hypothesis in favor of the time traveler ancient civilization hypothesis. Something relevant images. Wow, what? Time travel. See, I told you, time travel. So maybe that's a portal and they built a building around it. Maybe they've opened it and they've learned how to use it, and maybe it is a teleportation portal. Maybe that's why Trump wants Greenland so bad. Very interesting. And the spaceship is so big that they had to actually build a building around the spaceship because it was so big they couldn't move it. Even Stephen Greer talks about this spaceship, but he says that it's in South Korea. So I'm not sure if it's true or not about Greenland, but a lot of people talk about this spaceship and it's so big that they had to build a building around it and they couldn't move it. Very strange, right? You know, we have secret weapons. I'm sure you heard about what happened in Venezuela and how everybody just kind of fell on the ground and they were puking blood, and blood was coming out of their eyes, their ears, and their noses. They said it was a directional energy weapon. Some say that robot dogs were there. They said that the bullets were flying at 300 bullets per minute, and no human can do that. So I'm not sure exactly what went on there. We do have a secret weapon, and it is called the discombobulator. It's backpack size, and it's of Russian origin. I don't know if it's Greenland or South Korea, but either way, we acquired Greenland and we need it for national security for sure. I believe, a lot of people believe that the resurrection is coming soon. Israel has the red heifer that they need, that's in the Bible, and the third temple, they said they have it already prefabbed. They have all the priests' outfits, their robes, everything. It must be destroyed, and then that's when the resurrection happens and Jesus comes back to earth.
The mount is in our hands. We are in Jerusalem, and we are here to stay.
3 weeks ago, a construction permit was quietly filed in Jerusalem. Most news outlets ignored it, but the location listed on that permit sits at the exact coordinates where Solomon's temple once stood. The blueprints are drawn. The materials are purchased. The priests are trained. And according to sources inside the Temple Institute, the timeline just accelerated. Because what happens when the third temple is finally rebuilt isn't just a religious question anymore. It's a geopolitical countdown that could reshape 3 world religions, trigger international crisis, and fulfill prophecies written 2,500 years ago. And that countdown may have already begun. The priests are ready. We covered that. The red heifers from Texas are now over 2 years old, fully qualified for the purification ceremony. The high priest has been selected, his identity protected for security reasons. Priestly garments woven from specific linen blends hang in storage facilities outside Jerusalem. Training programs run weekly. You can't perform ancient temple rituals in a classroom. You can't offer incense on a folding table. The entire system requires one thing that hasn't existed for 1,954 years. A temple, not a synagogue, not a memorial. An actual functioning temple where the presence of God dwells, where sacrifices are offered daily, where the high priest enters the Holy of Holies once a year on Yom Kippur.
And he's going to come and take us and show us heaven and see what it really looks like. I don't know if we're going to be alive, but I sure hope so, because it will be amazing. All the dead rise when Jesus comes, so even if we're not physically alive here on this earth, we'll still spiritually be awakened and get to go to the promised land. Now, is this a Phsy-Op about the alien disclosure thing? This board of peace is kind of crazy. Using drones, maybe, saying that they're aliens. The CIA, I believe, is pulling a LARP on us. What? Live? That means live action role play. It's like a CIA PSYOP, basically. Even Dan Coulter, he's on YouTube. He talks about the UFOs all the time. He even said that he's heard and he knows where this gigantic spaceship that landed is, and that there's a building around it. That's insane. I would love to see that. So we have 3-Eye Atlas as well, with the forward-facing tail against the solar wind, perfectly aligned in plane with Mars, us, Venus, and now Jupiter. It's sped up by itself. It's been on a very precise and rare course to be at the elliptic plane of every single planet that it passed by. The satellite that we have surrounding Mars taking pictures, when it passed Mars, it mysteriously went offline and we've never heard from it since, and it's been up there for 10 years. Very strange. I guess most comets let off as emissions that would makes their tail is iron and water. Is most comets. The water, after it goes by the sun, and water evaporates, it's basically dry ice and creates the tail that you normally see on a comet. This doesn't have that. This has 2 jets coming out of the back of it in perfect symmetrical placement. Look, I'll show you.
And 3-Eye Atlas just keeps on giving up crazy information and data. This time, we're looking at images here with almost perfect symmetry. You can see the 3 points coming off of this object. To me, definitely not a comet. If you missed the last one, if it's a comet, a regular comet, then why would the CIA neither deny or admit that it exists or any records exist on it? The only time they ever do that in history is when there's something massive going on. Let's not forget that they switched everything up and they said that this is now under the largest planetary defense drill ever in history still. And all the other anomalies that come with this thing, like it shut down the camera, Mavon's camera, when it went by Mars. And now, it has this step-like radio fade that you can see described on the left here. A normal comet has a smooth decline in this nature. And see, it's when you start to dive into the numbers and all the data here that you see something's not right. What's happening with 3-Eye Atlas is it's giving off a sequence type of pattern. And it's stepping down in like perfect steps. And it's something you just do not see in a natural object, period. Couple this frequencies and things that have been received off this thing, or that it's giving off. And as you look at this image up here, even though it's a fake one in the background, how it has these different points that they go in different directions in like perfect symmetry.
Look like a spaceship. I'm sorry. We've never seen anything like this. And NASA, of course, never get a straight answer. They won't tell us anything. So I don't know what is really going on. But if something lands in Trump's front yard, I don't know if I believe that it's real or if it's the devil or if it's fallen angels that are coming back to Earth to cause chaos right before the resurrection. That the CIA used to be the OSS. It changed after World War II, and it was in relation to Roswell in World War II. The Air Force that we call the Air Force today used to be called the Air Corps. That was in 1947 that we got established the Air Force. That was after Roswell. In the 70s and 80s, that's when the NSA was formed. No such agency acronym, NSA, secret, classified, always, can't tell. Why can't we know? We live here too. They're spraying chemicals in the sky. They won't tell us what it is. It's going over our food. People just do whatever they want with impunity and without permission from the people that live underneath the things that they're doing in the sky. That is really not fair at all. We have every right to know what's happening, especially if they're spraying chemicals in our sky. These chemtrails. They're not contrails. They're chemtrails. Dulles Airport, Virginia. A lot of people believe that he was involved in Kennedy's assassination. He was part of the evil NSA/CIA back in the olden days, I should say. Now, alien disclosure is supposed to be coming near. Now, is it alien disclosure or is it a hoax? Is it a Phsy-Op or is it real? And I believe that maybe they're doing that because of our high-tech weapons. If they do say we have aliens here, how do we know that they're not fallen angels? And they're coming back to do damage like they did before when they mated with the women, humans, and made the Nephilim, the giants. And the giants were real. They say that there's still some giants in the Middle East, up in caves. Some of our service members said that they killed one not long ago, and they said it was so big they couldn't even lift him.
Into a very remote section of Afghanistan because a patrol had basically gone missing.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
there's no
No,
villages
just
around
nothing.
for miles.
Right.
So it's very remote.
Yeah, very remote. So we flew in to about 4 kilometers. We're hiking through the same area where they were supposed to make one of their checkpoints, one of their rally points. And before we left, there was all kinds of what happened with the ambush. But that was even odd because at the point of ambush, we called for maybe close air support, something. Okay, there was no calls made, just off the bridge. So we're coming down a mountainside, and it was a nice path, a goat path. As we bent around this corner, you could see this opening of the cave. There's a cave as we're coming around. And then I see there's a lot of rocks, which is another oddity, and then bone matter. When I'm not close enough to identify what kind of bones, but I did see something I knew was a piece of our communications equipment. So instantly, we're thinking ambush, maybe animal, it could be anything. And there was enough room in front of this cave, but it had a sheer drop-off. But there was enough room that we actually got into a decent dispersal in case of ambush.
You see something coming out of the cave, and it's moving with a speed and agility that catches you off guard.
Everybody. And he comes out. It was a man at least 12 to 15 feet in height. This is a monster. Red beard, then his hair was long past the shoulder, a scarlet red, and Dan runs at him and starts shooting, which broke all of us into the reality. Because it was
so
surreal.
Now your training is kicking in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Muscle memory. That complete muscle memory. While Dan is moving at him, another bro of mine's laying down fire, and I start firing. He skewers Dan. He's now got him on this pike. It went through him. And he's still got him. And he's coming after more. We all just clicked in. I don't know what it was, but I remember we're all like, shoot him in the face, shoot him in the face. And our weapons components were M4s, we had 308s, and we had Barrett 50s. This is sounding longer than it took. We're talking 30 seconds. And he's taking multiple hits and is still moving.
Something is definitely happening. I don't know if it's aliens, UFOs. If the Bible's true and we have a firmament above us, the waters above and the firmament's supposed to separate it from the waters below, we would know if aliens were coming in and out of our firmament because you can't leave it if it's true. Now, if space is real, then I just don't believe that we're going to see aliens. I just don't believe it. I could be wrong, but I'd rather believe in Jesus before I believe in aliens. But I do believe that there's something spiritual definitely going on in the world today. Now, they say when the fallen angels came that they transferred technology, and that's how the Egyptians built the pyramids and used them as a power grid, basically. I think that that's what they're discovering. There's columns underneath, pillars underneath the Pyramid of Giza, and it has these coils wrapped around them. So we're thinking that they had some kind of technology and they produced electricity, or they produced some kind of technology, obviously. I mean, there's just no other explanation for something to be built like that. And how would they know to do that back then, you know? And then there was Truman. He created MJ-12, which was 12 powerful men from the military, and they were supposed to be investigating UFOs and extraterrestrial. I believe that they pulled a Phsy-Op when Roswell happened. And then there was the cow mutilations. That wasn't aliens. That was humans. I believe that was the black ops that work for the military industrial complex that actually have anti-gravity craft. And those are what we're seeing flying around in the sky. I believe it's humans. They're Americans. They're paramilitary, but they're not anymore. Now they've gone rogue and they're black ops. They get money from the Pentagon. That's why so much money goes missing and we have no clue where it's at. I mean, the Pentagon is missing a lot of money. I don't think they've passed an audit in 7 years. Some people say that they are building a hybrid army, that the Nephilims that were here, the giants that breed, and because the fallen angels mated with the humans, the female humans, they lusted after them. And then they created the giants. Well, the giants made all the humans slaves, and then they started eating them. So God came, he flooded the earth, he opened up the firmament, opened the door to the firmament, and let the water from above come and flood the earth to get rid of all the evil. And Moses was the purest one, so he told Moses to get his family and the animals and build the ark and blase, blase. We all know the story. The giants were supposed to have been completely wiped out with the flood. So they're saying that the DNA from the Nephilim, the giants, is still in some people, and that they are making hybrids of like a super army or something like that. I believe it's the devil, and I believe maybe the Cern collider in Switzerland. It's a 30-mile ring underneath the ground with a bunch of coils around it. Particles, atoms, neutrons, and electrons, and they're slamming them together so hard that they break apart to see if they can create a wormhole, Stargate, or a portation, or connecting with spirits on the other side, which they said that they have a ghost in the Cern collider. They've seen something strange, and they said that they had it going one time and it worked, and they switched our timeline. We'll get into that in another video about like the Berenstein Bears and the spelling on the books, because I sure do remember the Berenstein Bears growing up and reading them, and it was the ending was T-I-E-N, and now they spell it Stan, S-T-A-N, Berenstain, and it was never Berenstain, it was Berenstein. They're saying that the Monopoly man never had his eyepiece. Yes, he did. They're saying Fruit of the Loom never had the cornucopia. Yes, it did. All kinds of stuff. I'm going to get into it. But anyway, the CERN Super Collider is, I believe, and they had this demonic opening, like this big show, and it was all demons, a guy with a goat head on and goat legs. It was really scary. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but I believe that they're summoning demons, the global elite. They are so evil. They all are Satan worshipers. They believe in this ball guy, a demon god. They are evil to the core, and they have all the money. I don't understand why God would let them have all the money and be as evil and corrupt as they are. But that is the way it is. Luke 21, verse 11, it says, the signs that come from heaven is the second coming, which is the resurrection. The stars and the moon will all fall from heaven, and then you will look up and you will see Jesus descending from the sky. I'm so excited. That'll be so wonderful. Oh my gosh. Wonder why he chose us to be around this time, But it could be not now, but it could be now because things in the Bible sure are happening. Prophecies are coming to fruition. Now, is the UFO thing a disclosure thing, the CIA? Is it all a hoax or a psyop for a new world order? Is the Board of Peace? Putin wants to put in $1 billion to help rebuild Gaza. Qatar is going to be on it. Turkey. Those people hate Israel. I don't understand, why would Trump have the Board of Peace, people that buy into it for one, and then they're going to rule over Israel? But they hate Israel. And in the Bible, it says about the 10 kings. The 10 kings from international countries are all going to come together in a circle, and they are going to come against Israel. And that's when the third temple gets destroyed, and then that's when Jesus is supposed to come back. Are we really witnessing the prophetic times, the end times of the Bible? Because this Board of Peace sure does sound a lot like the 10 kings coming against Israel, and the people that are going to be on this Board of Peace, except for Trump, they hate Israel. I don't know. They're Muslim. Muslims aren't, no, you can't be around Muslims because their stupid Bible tells them to kill anyone that's not a Muslim. And it says deceive, lie until you achieve your goal of either converting or killing anybody that is not a Muslim. They believe in some guy named Muhammad that married a 6-year-old little girl. Sorry. Bad Bible to worship, okay? I'd rather stick with Christ, gentle, kind, and loving. Never had to force anybody to convert to Christianity. He just took our hand and said, walk this way, my child. And we did because he is our God and our Lord and our Savior and our King. He's the beginning and the end, the Alpha, the Omega. Can't wait to meet him. I can't wait to meet God, and I can't wait to meet Jesus too. I'll tell you about a story one time. I had a near-death experience when I was very little. I had a bad accident, but I'll tell it to you on one video, but that's how I met Jesus. He is real. Do not be deceived. Men are easily corrupted. Wicked men are all around us right now, like more than we've ever seen before, ever. We're more awake than we've ever seen before. What in the world are these orbs that we're seeing everywhere? Is this our military trying to desensitize us for some kind of psyop? I mean, I sure wish we could know what was going on. And they're just sitting there and they know everything and they're laughing. Ha ha, they don't know anything. That's not funny. It's really cruel, actually, that we have to sit here and see all these things we can't understand and get absolutely no answers. It's like, it's so frustrating, right? So we're in a spiritual battle. I believe it. I believe everybody else feels it too. We definitely all feel something. The sun has been shooting solar flares. We've got that 3-eye atlas. People are seeing things coming in and out of the water. We're seeing things in the skies for the last 60 years that go faster than anything that we could ever think of. Maneuvers in ways that we could never maneuver. Nothing that we know of can go 200 miles an hour underwater. But submarines and the guys on them have seen these things going 200 miles an hour. That is unbelievably fast underwater. A bullet can't even travel that far underwater. So I don't know what it is that's happening, but there's definitely something crazy happening. So keep prayed up, live your best life, enjoy every minute. Don't take a minute for granted because you never know when things are going to hit the fan. And, Putin's been threatening nuclear wars. He says he was going to hit Germany. So we don't know. Things are very volatile, and I can't see Putin on the Board of Peace. Can you? But he wants to be on it. Oh, boy. God help us all. Well, everybody, I hope you take this to heart. Keep your eyes on the sky. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep your ears open. I'll give you updates as often as I hear stuff. I believe that we're fixing to kill the Ayatollah, which that man has killed like 30,000 people in Iran for just protesting. Whoa, that's pretty messed up. Minnesota, we had another shooting. Today, a man walked up to one of the ICE agents with a gun, and it's all because of those corrupt and crooked, disgusting politicians egging it on like idiots. Well, I hope you guys have an absolutely blessed evening. Remember, no matter what life throws at you, you still have potential. God bless you, and God bless America.